This is Mark coming to you from behind the camera at Baker's Green Acres, and I'm showing you a picture of our chicks that are in the brooder side yard, and they're going to be moved from here. 75 of them are going to come out today, or 100, and they're going to go into that tractor over there. This tractor over here has got 40 or so of these Freedom Rangers. So this is a meat bird. Well, not 40, it looks like 20. It's a meat bird that is a little different than the white ones. They take a little bit longer to develop, but they're better foragers. Better forages. Okay, now I'm going to switch it back around to me. All right, you know, I did that because when you make a video, if it's a video of me every single time, just my face saying, I'm going to go live, that gets boring after a while. And just made this decision that I want to change things around a little bit and make a bigger impact with this whole homesteading, information sharing, Homesteaders Guild, Anyone Can Farm Tribe, all that stuff. I want to make a bigger impact. So I made a video a little while ago and I talked about a new way to format this. And what it's going to come down to is we're going to bring up a theme on maybe Sunday afternoon, maybe Monday morning, but it will be the theme of what we want to talk about for the week. And the theme could come from my memory banks, it could come from my mind, my wife's mind, your mind. Doesn't really matter, but we can develop anything we want. Oh, this is cool. This is really cool. I'm going to turn around and show you this. This is like, I have a whole bunch of these that I've assembled all over this field. There's a bunch over there, there's more there, there's one there. But as I'm walking over here, I'm going to steady my arm on this pole as I'm making this video. That little fellow was right at the entrance of the box, so I could see him sticking out. And I'm, 5 feet from him right now, and he seems to think I'm his friend, which I am. All right. Now let me turn it around again. All right, I digressed a little bit, but the theme for this week is going to be vertically integrating your homestead. And that might be a little deceptive. However, I'm going to show you the processes that I've got going here and how they are vertically integrated. So vertical integration would be I explained it before, is like you raise chickens and then you butcher those chickens, or you have a delivery service for those chickens. You try to own all the different processes that go into it. That's what we're talking about here. That's what I'm talking about here. I mean, it might not fit in with somebody else's idea of what vertical integration, but that's what I'm talking about here. So and we're a homestead, we're not really a big time commercial operation anymore. So if I do something, I'd like to get the most bang out of it that I can. And it's the same with making these videos. I'd like to get the most bang out of these videos too. Oh, these little fellas are kind of upset. So maybe I'll move. Okay. And the first thing I wanted to explain that a little bit, because in the video I made prior to this one, some people didn't get the sound. And I checked with my engineering staff here, Jill, and she said, I don't know. Some people did get the sound, some people didn't. So anyway, so this process that we had to do today was the field that I am in right now is a rye field that's part of my grow area. is what I call the grow area. Okay, I'll turn this around and show you what this rye looks like. Okay, so some of this wheat is as tall as I am. All right, so not quite. It's up to my chin. All right. All right, so it's pretty tall, and this is rye. I planted this stuff in September, and here it is. Okay. So the whole idea of planting this rye in the grow area is so as I can turn the pigs in on it. But there was a little twist in the plan. When we needed to get our chicks out of the brooder into chicken tractors, we wanted them to be on growing stuff, on growing fields, on green, real nice stuff, so they could eat that and it would build their bodies. There's a whole reason for that. You want the goodness that's in this soil out here to come up into the rye, and the chickens eat that, and then when we eat the chickens, we're getting a lot of that in us. So another theme could be soil health and human health. That'd be a good theme. All right, I'm gonna rest on here. All right, so we did put 2 chicken tractors on here because we had about 100 chicks that needed to go out. So we put 2 chicken tractors on here, and the rye was up maybe about 6-8 inches when we put them out here, but it was soft and supple grass. It wasn't the thick, stocky stuff that you see waving around me. It was just the really nice, soft stuff when it first starts out. So the time has come where I want to move pigs in here, so we had to get the chicken tractors out. We processed quite a few of them last Friday, and there was still, I don't know, 60, 70 of them left. So we had to get them out this morning. So we moved the chicken tractors out, and then a lot of the chickens are still in here. And, you know, when we start talking about vertical integration, there's questions that come in to mind. All right, could I turn pigs in here if there are chickens in here? Could I run them in here together? You know, little ones, no, because they'll just crawl through the fence. Big ones, maybe it's a bad thing that they can't crawl through the fence, because if the pigs corner them and want to eat one of them, there's no getting away. But I don't know as the pigs would. I mean, these are mature sows. They're 2-year-old sows, and there's only 3 of them. And they're coming in here, and there's so much feed in here for them. I don't know as they'd want to put out the effort to chase these full-grown Freedom Rangers, who, by the way, they only have a few more days left too. They're going to be processed this coming Friday. So I guess we could try it, see what happens, close the gate, and turn them in here. But I was able to get more than just sustenance for the chickens out of this. I'm actually getting sustenance for the chickens. I'm getting sustenance for the pigs. I'm going to have the soil building properties of running chicken tractors, you know, on fields, right? So you can see where 2 chicken tractors have gone. They've made a huge difference in the soil and the foliage in here. The chickens have eaten quite a bit of this, but when they eat it, they manure it back, so it feeds this soil, which is a good thing. Is this soil is going to feed these plants are going to feed the pigs are going to feed us. So it's all working at the same time. And the green material on here, this rye, is doing a bunch of things at the same time. It's nurturing the soil. It's a solar collector, so it's catching all these rays. All this rain that we've had recently, it caught all that and put it to good use. And it's putting roots way, way down. When it puts roots way down like that, it starts to bring up minerals from this soil. So it's way in our best interest. It's definitely in our best interest to mineralize this soil. So how do you do that? How do you mineralize the soil? That's probably a theme for another time, because that's a deep subject. But right now, I just wanted to show you this. And then when I come back, I've got to close some gates and open some gates. And when I've done that, and I see the pigs move in this direction, meaning that they're going to be in on this rye, then I'm going to want to turn the camera on again so you can see their reaction when they come into this world. See, like, as humans, we have a perspective that the animals don't have. I mean, I know what's going on in certain cities in this country right now. Pigs don't know that. And even if I told them, they don't care. But they'll get real psyched about this rye field. And this rye field, by the way, and I'm planning to do this too. This rye field is 100 by 100. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out here, I'm going to mark off a square yard, I think. That would be a better test. A square yard. So that'd be 9 square feet. Right? Yeah, 9 square feet. And what we'll do then is we'll dig out everything in that 9 square feet that a pig could eat. Okay, so roots, tops, the grain on the top, all that stuff. We'll dig it all out, and we'll take it right into the butcher shop, throw it up on a scale, and weigh it. And let's do that together. I think that'll be real interesting. So then you have something that you can use. You have some of the numbers that you can plug into the equation. If we have 10,000 square feet out here, and we're weighing up, 5 pounds of material per square foot, you do the math on that, and it gets kind of exciting. These animals have to eat, and we have to pay for the feed. As I think I've explained, when I seeded this last fall in September, it wasn't exact. I haven't been exactly scientific on a lot of these things that I've done. But now, where I'm going to pass the information on, I'd like to offer more of the data points. So, how much rye did I put on this field? It's 10,000 square feet. I put 2 1-pound coffee cans. So if you weigh a pound of coffee in a coffee can, if you weigh that coffee can, it's 1 pound. But if you put grain in it, I don't know if it's going to be 1 pound. So we'll probably have to do some weighing to let you know. But everybody knows what a coffee can looks like. There's an empty Folgers can, the plastic one. They don't make steel ones anymore. Too bad. So that's all the seed that I put out here. And when I buy rye, I'm buying it by the 50-pound bag, by the 50 weight they call it. And I think I pay about $10 a bag for it. If I pay $10 a bag for it, I'm really happy to give them $10 for that. But my use of that is going to be different than probably the intended use for growing rye. I mean, seed rye, when you buy it, they're intending you to sow it into a field and then come back over that field with a combine, take all these heads off. I'll just show you one right here. This is not developed yet. I mean, this has got a long ways to go. And I've got another field that I planted in this that I am going to let go to maturity, and it'll have nice, thick, plump kernels on it. And when it does, a lot of the green has subsided. It's all gone into the kernels, and then these things start to tip. They start to sag down to the ground, just about the right height for a turkey to get. And so the turkeys that we're going to do this year are going to be on or adjacent to that field, and I'll show you that whole process too. There's a lot to know about turkeys, and I'll show you that. That could be a theme, actually. Turkeys, it could be a theme. We could develop that theme for a week. Really could. And who knows what input I would get from you all on that would be loaded into my head, and where could it go? You know, that's why this is a good thing. So this is the way we'll proceed. What I'm showing you here is I've had chickens on here for over a month. In this case, we ran them down that way every couple of days, and then we turned them around in the same footprint and brought them back the other way. And it's kind of an experiment. I want to see how this field looks when I seed it back. Okay, when I seed it back, that's a ways out. I'm going to have 3 sows in here. They're all pregnant sows, so they're going to farrow in here. This is a great environment for baby pigs because there's lots of shade and there's lots of nutrient here. But by the time I'm ready to move those pigs off of here, you will not see what you see now. So I'm down ground level now, and you see just the wall of, I mean, look at all that. That's forage. That's food right there for the pigs. It's just a wall. I mean, my kids have been coming in here and playing hide and go seek. And they're going to be playing a lot more because there's still a whole bunch of chickens in here that are hiding. Just for the fun of it, I'll show you some of them. And we can kind of explain to you. These types of chickens, these are the Freedom Rangers. They're right at home in this stuff. See, they hide. But I'm gonna let the pigs in and see what happens. I don't think the pigs will grab them. I don't think the chickens will let the pigs grab them. But we'll see. And they're all over the place. When we picked the chicken tractors up and started moving them, and of course they don't stay in. So. All right, so that's what I'm going to do. And when I get everything set up, I'll turn the camera back on and we'll watch this happen. Okay, this all happened really quick. I opened up the gates and they just happened to be interested in what I was doing. So let me just turn around. And here we go. Here's the third one. She's the slower one. The other two are already in there. So she's going a little slow. No, she's going to turn around. She doesn't want to come. See, here's the gate that I just opened. So let's go focus on the other guys. So what pigs do when you turn them into a field like this, they run around and they determine the perimeter. All right, so here's real time. If there's going to be a problem, you're going to see it. So they're just getting in on this. Whoa. They'll flush all those chickens out of there. Those chickens are going to be saying, hey, where can we go here? So the pigs like to determine their perimeter. They like to figure out where the edges are. And you can see that they just disappear into it. That's how much is out here. This is going to be really cool. I mean, I've done this quite a few times, but I've never really followed them around so I could share the results of it. Look at this. Wild boars. These are just, they're 2-year-old sows. There's 3 of them. They're bred. And so this is where they'll be to have their little ones. So they're having fun now. That's what this is all about. Where are you? There you are. Look at this. Isn't this great? Well, there's a chicken dinner right here for me. So let's see what happens. If I find that they are tracking the chickens down, you can see she likes that stuff pretty good. The chickens are pretty quick. Just kind of fun to watch. Okay, so I had to close this. This is one of the gates I had to close. This is the original. Oh, I might have some wind problems here. Okay, that should be better. What I do is I put my microphone in my pocket. And that usually fixes the wind, but it is kind of a windy day today. Beautiful day. But this was the original gate when this was a produce area. And it still is a produce area. It's just that we don't harvest what we grow in here. The pigs harvest what we grow in here, and the chickens harvest it, and then we harvest them, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna get up here from a different point of view. This is a place where a lot of water collects, and none of the seed took in here. And it could very well be when I seeded it last fall that it was very wet, and so I didn't seed it. That could very well be. That was a long time ago. Okay, from this point of view, I'm going to turn around and show you the gate that they just came in. They just came through this gate. All right, and I've got this gate over to the side here. Hopefully they don't come back through it, but if they do, they'll wind up over in here anyway. So I had to open that gate. I had to close this gate. This is the next field over. This is field number 2. Here's field number 2 right here. If you ever seen field peas, this is right about the place where they just start to explode. This field is really nice and wet. Good mineralization on this field, and this stuff should do very well. Once it's taken, once it's gone this far and it's this nice and green and this healthy looking, I can see a lot of foliage that's getting ready to sprout. This is going to take off, and this won't be quite as high as this. Okay, there's a good shot of the rye against a 39-inch woven wire. So that's 39 inches off the ground. And there's another foot of fence post you can see. So that's good 50 inches of growth there. And we'll be interested in as time goes by to see how they take it down, you know, what they eat first and all that. But these are the field peas. Part of the reason I told you that I needed to get them on this field. The reason I needed to get them, am I hearing what I don't want to hear? What am I hearing? Well, I wanted them on this field was because if that gets too far gone, the peas, that won't be good. Oh, I see what she got. She found their feed trough. This is fun. All right, so she found the feed trough. She's tipped it up. Now she's getting all their feed out of it. If I were to leave it in here, she would break it and lick every board. And the other one found a bunch of water over there and just wallowed around in it. So this is like Christmas for these for these pigs. This is a happy day. Look at the land of chocolate they're living in. Might even have us a chicken dinner here. All right, she's gonna lay on that until she breaks it. Yep, that's what she'll do. Yep, pigs are extremely destructive. And I'll roll around on it until it breaks. That snorting that you hear is no big deal. They just do that when they're kind of happy. All right, that's out. All right, so me again. So they've got a bunch of chicken feed that's dumped out on the ground here, and they'll just be doing pig things on it. Pigs love to roll around in their feed, and so that's what they're doing. They're very, very happy right now. This is fun, fun, fun. So let me get back here and show you what I was showing you, my process of getting them in here. See, because, you know, I talk about all these different fields, and you say, well, that's nice, but how do you get the pigs from one field to the next? The 3 fields that I have here are connected, and then I have a component here. I'm going to turn this around again. This is a lane, all right? All right, so there's the pea field. Here's the lane. And through that gate up there is field 1. This is field 3, where we just put them on. So to kind of give you an idea of what we're looking at. And then this gate right here is for getting in here. You know, I can get in here through that gate, and I can access any one of these fields with a cultivator or a rototiller or whatever I'm going to use to do this. And it becomes kind of a little bird sanctuary. Animals feel safe in here, which is a good thing. Wild animals. And that's the idea of all the bird houses. When the swallows are safe, then the other animals know it's safe. Okay, so this is field 1. Wow. Looks bad, huh? Well, they've been in on here all winter long. And there was about 20 of them in here. There's only 3 now, but there was 20. And we farrowed in here. We've done a lot of stuff in here. All winter long they've been here. Ooh, neat. There's the swallows. Boy, they're great to watch. They do a lot of good too. They eat a lot of bugs and stuff. Really like them. So this is what field 3 will look like in time. If we let them in there, if we leave them in there long enough, it will look like this. And this, you might say, whoa, this looks terrible. Well, you let me go through it with a cultivator a little bit, and then you see what you think. It's going to be very nice, rich, dark soil. And then we will get this planted. I'd like to, this week for sure, get it planted. I'm not as in big of a rush. Here, she wants to come back to her old stomping grounds, I guess. Oh, they love grass. Love grass. Okay, but when I get in here and I do till this up, I plan to show you what that looks like. Now, I happen to have the ability to do that tilling now. I didn't always, right, but now I do. I have a really crude cultivator that'll go on my tractor, and I have a really nice rotavator or rototiller that goes on my tractor, and it took a long time to get one of those, but I have one. And if I can come in here and I can rototill this, it'll look really nice, and I will be able to seed it very easily. If I didn't have those pieces of equipment, I could come in here right now and seed this with a broadcast seeder. And or if I don't have one of those, I can just, you know, reach into the coffee can and throw the seeds out with my hand and try to get them as even as possible. That's not real high tech, but it'll work. It'll definitely work. And the rye will grow regardless of whether it was my hand that threw it or some nifty piece of equipment that that planted it. I'm going to show you something here. This is cool. Hey, come back and run the way you just did. That looked pretty cool. Run up along the fence line. This is Jim. Been what could be better than running in the rye? I guess he's catcher in the rye. Maybe you want to try and catch those chickens, get them put in. I think we can conclude, though, that the pigs are not chasing those chickens around to try and get them.
Pretty much.
All right. How about you close this gate? All right, cool. So if you don't have good ways of planting, you can always do it by hand. If I were not in the position that I'm in now with the planter that I have, or with the tillage equipment that I have, right now it is really minimal, really, just a crude cultivator and a rototiller. I mean, a rototiller is sort of like a rich man's toy, but I do a lot of gardening, and so it pays for me to do that. But if I were going to just seed this by hand and use no equipment on it, so all the equipment that I would be using is just the fencing, I would have seeded it a couple of weeks ago, and then maybe again in a week. And the pigs walking around out there, they're going to push a lot of it in. You know, we'll get rained on, a lot of stuff gets moved around, and we'll get pretty decent germination from what we plant. If you don't, let's say it goes too deep, it'll just sit there till next year if it doesn't rot out, or the next time, or when the soil gets disturbed, and all of a sudden that will go. So here we planted, and we should talk about this in our discussion tonight. Here we planted rye, and before we get to our discussion, or maybe sometime tomorrow, whatever, we'll get to it. I'm going to get some of that weighed, and we're going to come up with a raw number of how much tonnage is in that field of forage for those pigs. And that'll be a good number to know. That'll be a real good number to know, because when you are feeding pigs, that's your major nibbler on your bottom line. Actually, it's taking big bites out of your bottom line. Even if you're just doing it for your family, it's taking big bites out of your bottom line, and is feed. And if we can grow the feed, let's say I've got $2 invested in all that rye on that field, and it's not just the rye kernels, it's the rye stalks, stems, and leaves that those pigs are going to eat. They are going to eat all that, right? And they'll make good quality pork out of it. They'll make good quality fat. And maybe someday when we talk about, when the theme could be pigs and the homestead, you know, pigs on the homestead. That'd be a good theme. I'll have to write that in the workbook, because it's a deep subject. It's a really deep subject. These animals have far more use than we have been led to believe. All we know is we see pork chops at the meat counter, but we have no idea how we can utilize the animals before they are processed, and all the different ways to process. So that'd be a good theme to talk about. All right, so the system, you've just seen the system operate. Open it and close gates and move pigs. I did not break a sweat doing this. Matter of fact, I didn't even close this last gate. Jim did. And now I'm going to work a little bit at distributing some water over here for them, and that's just a question of turning valves. It's very easy to do that. And then I have to get the electric fence distributed over here as well. I probably am not going to do that today, because you may have noticed that the electric fence is kind of buried in a lot of foliage. So they will not push on those fences so long as they have all that food in there. They're not thinking, gee, I need to get down to Lansing. You know, they don't care about that. All they care about is food, getting cooled off, water, laying around, getting their babies delivered, And what we're trying to accomplish here is build up the system of that sow before she farrows. So right now, the little babies that are inside of these sows are being built. You know, it's a cell at a time they're being built. And if we build them with only, let's say, corn, then they're going to be missing some of the blocks that they need, or some of the blocks will not be as strong as they need to be. But when we build them on a diverse diet, plenty of green, plenty of roots, mineralized ground, because they do eat dirt, and then the feed that we do give them, which most of these guys are just getting bread. They will not be getting any hay now. They would just not utilize it. And this is what they would eat if they were in the wild. You know, they'd be foraging around. Then they get their protein supplement whenever we process chickens once a week. They get a third of the heads, feet, and guts. And that's their protein. You know, that's their main animal protein that they get. And if we process something else in the meantime too, they would get that. So good. This was a pretty good video, and I think it fits into the vertical integration. Okay, I had chickens in here. Now we have pigs, and we've determined that the pigs aren't killing the chickens. So maybe chickens can go in with pregnant sows. Maybe there'd be a benefit. It might not be, though, because the chickens could be really tough on brand new infant little piggies. They could be kind of tough on them. You know, they could peck them and hurt them. Okay, so we won't go that far today, but we came this far and we saw that we were able to put them in. They didn't grab them. They kind of sniffed them. If that changes, I'll let you know. But as of today, and right now, we're doing okay. They're in there and they're doing all right. Now, I'm not going to leave them in there. They're obviously coming out to go in the chicken tractors. And the reason I put the chicken tractors where I did, but that needs to be another video. This is a long one. Okay, anyone can farm. See you tonight.